Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is a super quick and easy Dollar Tree Christmas display tray. I love this. It's actually inspired by a post that I've been seeing on Instagram. I think I'm following the hashtag Farmhouse Decor, and there's this beautiful wood tray that keeps popping up. I wish I would have looked up who the original poster was, but I'll insert a picture. And the tray itself is actually pretty pricey, so I wanted to create something similar using Dollar Tree materials to display all of my Christmas goodies. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoy this video and stick around by subscribing to this channel. Once you hit that subscribe button, we instantly become best friends.
Did we just become best friends? Yup!
And please hit that notification bell. It might not work, but hopefully one day it does. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
For this tutorial, I'm going to be using one of Dollar Tree's pizza pans, but of course you can use any of their chargers or those metal tins that they have. Anything will work. I'm also going to use their contact paper. They do have another wood kind, which is a lot darker. And I'm just going to cut out as much as I need to cover the pizza pan. So the good thing about this contact paper is that it already has the lines, so you're not going to be cutting extra if you don't need it. I always pull back a little bit and then just start pulling from the bottom. This is going to be a little bit difficult because it does dip down. So I took my time with this and I just kept pulling under and rearranging. The good thing about this contact paper is that you can pull up and rearrange with no issue. I was also pressing my fingers on the indentations because I decided that I was just going to cut around that and let the pizza pan peek through. I honestly ended up liking it in the end. So I just made sure that I grabbed my fingers and I pushed it all up against the edges so that I can cut everything away. Now, if you're determined to cover the entire thing in contact paper, it is totally possible. You would just have to create small little notches, but honestly, I really liked how it looked with the edges exposed. You can also just paint the pizza pan a separate color so that the edges do not look like a pizza pan. To expose the edges, I used an X-Acto knife, but you can use a box cutter, and I traced along the edges. This is really easy to do, but I do recommend taking your time. I didn't take my time and some pieces came out a little wonky, but that's okay because there's going to be so many things on this tray that you won't even be able to see it. Another good thing about this is that if you ever change your mind about having the wood grain, you can always remove this without having to take your tray apart. So now that I've removed everything, I'm going to move on to my second tier. I also made sure I got rid of all the air bubbles. For my second tier, I used this gift box from Dollar Tree. These little tin boxes are so cute. This is the medium size. I couldn't find a large one, but it was actually pretty perfect. And you can spray paint the inside to match, but I left mine as is because it's going to be covered. Now I measured the entire thing so that I can save some contact paper, and I just cut down what I needed. I always use the inside of the contact paper as my guide since it has those grids which make it really easy to cut. So I cut down the length of the entire tin, and then for the width I made sure to leave a lot of extra space so that I can tuck in. And since it is a circle, it's going to be a little difficult to tuck in without any wrinkles, but you'll see how I do it. It actually ended up looking really good. To make your life a little bit easier, pull apart just a little bit of your contact paper and fold it down. And this is just going to make it easier for you to pull. Now I'm going to start at my seam and I'm going to press it down. I'm going to make sure that I've smoothed everything out perfectly before I keep pulling from the bottom. You don't want to pull everything off at once because you're going to end up with wrinkles and with your contact paper all over the place. So this is the best way to ensure that everything is looking nice and neat. When you get to the end, it should cover that seam perfectly, and I think it blends in really nicely. So now to tuck in these pieces, I just grabbed my scissors and I started creating little notches all over. You're gonna go all the way around so that you can fold these in with no issues. Now after you fold this in, you of course have the option of cutting out a circle of the contact paper and covering that up, but no one is going to see that, so that is up to you and if it's going to bother you to keep it as is. So now that everything is this way, I'm going to go ahead and do the top. Now I did go ahead and recover mine because I realized I didn't leave enough space. But it's the exact same steps. You're just gonna fold everything in until it's completely covered, and you can always go ahead and cut a strip of contact paper to cover up the inside. It's up to you and what you're gonna use this tray for. Once you're done, you can continue to smooth and pop any air bubbles with a needle. So to create my stand, I used this pack of Dollar Tree napkin rings. Now for this, I didn't use the key that I usually use on my E6000. And that's because I'm gonna use a really small amount on each ring. I don't want it to seep out because I really don't wanna have to paint this. I think this matches the edge of my first tier really well. So I took my time at making sure that it was perfectly leveled and that none of the glue was seeping out. Every time that I added one in, since E6000 doesn't dry instantly, I kept rearranging my pieces to make sure that they are leveled and straight. Once you're done stacking, you can wrap this in contact paper if you really want. You can spray paint it whatever color, but I really liked the color that it was. These videos are just meant to be ideas. Of course, you can customize this however you want if you're gonna try this at home. These are just ideas for you. Once they're all stacked, I'm going to make sure to move them around to make sure that they're perfectly straight. Put this up against a wall if you want. And now I'm going to use it as a guide to create a little circle in the middle so that everything can glue nicely and not lift up. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife, and I first created an X to make it easier to remove the pieces, and then I traced around the circle. I tried to trace a little smaller than the actual circle was, but I ended up going a little outside the lines, so make sure you take your time with this. So once you've removed everything and you're going to add your stand, for this step you want to make sure that you do add a generous amount of glue because this is going to be holding everything together. So I added a ton of glue to the bottom piece and made sure to press that in nicely. And you want to let it dry before you move on to the top, but if you have no patience like me, you're going to go ahead and add a generous amount of glue to the top and then press your top tier in, making sure that it's centered. Usually for other trays, I add a wooden plaque to the bottom for support, but since this is a metal tin, it's just fine. For decorating, I did use the $3 wreaths from Target. However, if you wanted to keep it all Dollar Tree, you can use the picks that I used last week in my tutorial from Dollar Tree, but I wanted this to look a little different, so I added the wreaths for different greenery. Then I went ahead and added this Dollar Tree ornament. This is a deer ornament, and I thought it was so cute. I went ahead and glued it right in the middle of the top tier. You don't have to do this if you don't like it. And then I added other details. I found these magnets at Dollar Tree. I went ahead and added some of the Dollar Tree picks just to add some color, and I just spread them around in different locations just to add little pops of color here and there. I picked some of the berries off of this one and added it to the back, and as you can see, I added one of the Dollar Tree lanterns in the background. I think right now it looks really good, but to be more Christmassy, I added this Dollar Tree ornament with a little sleigh, and bam, you have a beautiful 2-tier Christmas display tray, which is also very, very farmhouse theme. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. Out of all the videos on the internet, you sat here and you chose mine and sat through it, and I appreciate it so very much. Till next time.